This is Mac OS Ken.
Happy Labor Day, friends. It is Monday, the 5th of September, 2022. I'm Ken Ray, welcoming you into this rumor-packed holiday edition of Mac OS Ken. There is a great big Apple event happening this week. Of course, we don't know exactly how big, but there are plenty of rumors out there. We'll spend today's show going over a few iPhone rumors and a few about Apple Watch with Jeff Butts, managing editor of the Mac Observer, online at macobserver.com. Before we do that, though, let's do a little business. Today's episode is sponsored by Notion, one workspace for your whole team. Learn more and get started for free at notion.com. This episode is also sponsored by Ladder, smart, dynamic term life insurance. I don't know about you, but I tend to wait on stuff. Taxes are done the week taxes are due. I've done some Christmas shopping on Christmas Eve. You can meet hard deadlines. Setting up term coverage life insurance, not a good thing to wait on. So don't wait. Choose life insurance through Ladder today. If you're worried that it's difficult, it's not. Ladder is 100% digital. No doctors, no needles, no paperwork when you apply for $3 million in coverage or less. Just answer a few questions about your health in an application that will take you less time than you will spend listening to today's show. If you're worried about the risk, don't be. There are no hidden fees, you can cancel at any time, and you can get a full refund if you change your mind in the first 30 days. Ladder's customers rate them 4.8 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot, and they made Forbes' list for Best Life Insurance 2021. So go to ladderlife.com/macOSKen today to see if you're instantly approved. That's LADDER life.com/macOSKen. ladderlife.com/macOSKen. The big event this week, aside from whatever pool party or cookout you have planned for today, is Apple's Far Out Media event, the company's first in-person media event since 2019, unless you count the viewing party they did for WWDC. Ahead of that, tons of hardware rumors out there. I talked over a few of those last week with Jeff Butts, managing editor of the Mac Observer. So I got to make a confession before we get started. I do what I can to ignore hardware rumors. It's not that I don't care. It's more I don't care. But I do know that other people do care about them. And so what I've done is I've asked Jeff today to drive the bus. We're going to hit a few rumors tied to iPhone. Then we're going to hit a few rumors tied to Apple Watch. And, yeah, you know, as cool as Apple Watch is, the phone is the thing. So why don't you get us started with our very first phone rumor, sir?
You know, first of all, we had been hearing that the pricing was going to go up a little bit, between $100 to $200 on the iPhone, particularly the Pro models. But to offset that, it was going to have more storage, and there was going to be a 2 terabyte storage option. Mm-hmm. But our latest round of rumors say that no increased storage, no 2 terabyte option. But yes, they will still raise the price.
How do you think they're going to make that?
Because, you know, they can.
Well, okay, can they, though? I mean, how do you make... On the Pro side, I guess you kind of can, but you really should have something to offer people, right? I mean, obviously it's going to have whatever the next fastest processor is going to be. What are we moving to? We're moving to the 16, is that right? Or we're moving 16, to the 15?
Yeah.
Okay, you're moving to the 16. So I guess you can say that, but every year they have moved up on the processor and not moved up on the price.
Right.
It feels like it gets to be a harder sell to the Pro side if you're not saying, but here's all this extra that you get, as opposed to, well, you know what, it's just more. Things cost more. You understand. You're a Pro.
Yeah, this is one that I'm kind of dumping the whole salt shaker on rather than just a grain of salt, because here's the thing. We're expecting the 14 Pro to have quadruple the amount of megapixels in the camera than the iPhone has ever had before.
Okay.
We're expecting it to be able to shoot 8K video in ProRes. That means huge files. That means anybody who wants to do it needs more storage space, which, I mean, granted, most users aren't going to fill that up, but anybody who's doing a lot of video recording in 8K, they'll be able to fill up even 2 terabytes pretty quickly.
But they won't have the 2 terabytes to fill. So so is the case that
Right.
you're making that the features that will be specifically for the pro users will be big enough that even the people who aren't using it professionally but always buy the pro phone are going to understand, the extra $100?
Yeah, I think so, but I also think that it may not start out at a bigger size, but I think they will still have the 2 terabyte option.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, I don't see how they can't. Not if we're right about the 48 megapixel camera.
Okay.
And shooting an 8K video. It's almost a gotta have it.
You had a rumor about the charging for the phone.
Yeah, the other thing, and this is another one that I kind of scratched my head. Rumor is that the iPhone 14 will begin to support 30-watt fast charging. Right now, I think the max is 15 watts, but not with the charger that comes with it. Well, because it doesn't come with a charger anymore, but
Right.
also because the chargers that they currently sell specifically for the iPhone don't go any higher than 20 watts.
Okay.
So you would need one of the new dual chargers that Apple just came out with, or your MacBook Pro charger. Since it is USB-C, you can plug that same cord right into it.
Hey, speaking of USB-C, I know there's talk that the EU and what have you are going to push all devices to being USB-C as opposed to a proprietary cable. I haven't heard anybody say anything about that, and I know I said I don't pay attention to rumors, mostly because I don't, but they all kind of get through a tiny bit. I haven't heard anything about that for this round of iPhones.
No, you haven't, because we're not expecting that until the iPhone 15 next year.
Okay.
We do expect that the iPhone 14 will stick with Lightning for at least this year.
Okay. Well, then I'm really excited about all the articles that are going to complain about it on the 8th.
Oh yeah.
September.
Oh yeah.
That'll be fun.
Well, now here's one that you might care about. What's your favorite color, Ken?
For what?
For your phone. Your phone.
I got whatever the blue phone was last year, and I really like it. Of course, I immediately put an orange case on it because I like the contrasting colors. Not a Syracuse fan, although I guess I know enough about them to know that that's their colors. But and I'm not a Syracuse fan either. So save your email. I really like the blue one last year quite a bit.
Well, if you're upgrading to a 14 Pro, you won't be able to get blue, according to the latest round of rumors.
Okay, what are we looking at for colors?
The 14 Pro and Pro Max, they're looking at graphite, silver, gold, a dark shade of purple, and green, but no blue.
See, I like the idea of a dark shade of purple, honestly, because the purple they came out with a couple of years ago. First of all, I know I'm a victim of marketing because the purple they came out with a few years ago, not only was it like a mid-season edition, but it was also not as dark as I would want it to be, and yet I really thought I could make one look good.
Now, if you do want a blue iPhone, then, maybe stick with the 14 or the 14 Max, because apparently blue is going to be an option there.
Okay.
Along with purple, green, red, starlight, and midnight.
I'll tell you what makes me most excited about you talking about the colors. You finally hit on a feature about which I care.
Yeah, I thought you might.
Do you spend any time worrying about the color that you're going to get? Because Chuck Joyner from Mac Voices. Yeah,
I do.
Yeah, I think it was last year when the new colors were coming out, and everybody in his chat was talking about, what color you're going to choose? You're going to do this. You're going to do that. What are you going to do? And Chuck was like, it doesn't matter because you put a case on it immediately. Now, of course, first, Apple doesn't want us putting cases on them anymore, although they're happy to sell us one if we want to.
Right.
Additionally, I wasn't kidding. I do complementary colors on mine. I can't remember. I had a blue, well, not complementary, but colors that offset. So when I had my yellow iPhone 11, I had a dark blue case on that because I like the whole X-Men vibe, I'll be honest. With this one, I have the marigold, I think it is, and the blue one. Do you worry at all about the colors?
Okay. I don't. When the Alpine Green 13 Pro came out, that is what got me to upgrade. But then I promptly put a blue OtterBox Defender case on it. So,
wow! Not only do you not want to be able to see any of your phone, you want to be as far away from it as you can possibly be.
My family has we've got kind of a family motto: clutch butts strikes again.
Okay.
I'm accident prone. I'm not going to take any chances on an $1,200 phone. That Gorilla Glass is really as sturdy as Apple says it is.
We'll do a bit of Apple Watch talk in a moment, but first a word from Notion, one workspace for your whole team and sponsor of today's show. We've talked a lot about how Notion can help work teams work better together, whether they're together or not. But Notion can help your home team too. Maybe you're putting together a sales pitch at work. Maybe you're planning a family trip at home. Maybe you're having trouble getting various people on various projects on the same page at work or home. Notion can help. Notion is an all-in-one team collaboration tool that combines note-taking, document sharing, wikis, project management, and much more into one space that is simple, powerful, and beautifully designed. Staying organized, clear communication, making sure everybody's on the same page at work or at home. If you're working, planning, building, Notion is the collaboration tool for you. You can get started for free at Notion.com. That's Notion.com to start today for free. Notion. That's Notion.com to take the first step toward organized, productive work and life today. Now more of my conversation with the Mac Observer's Jeff Butts. So we got some watch rumors. Mr. Butts, managing editor of Mac Observer. What do you got?
Well, before we do that, I got a question for you. You know, before you hit that big red button, you made the comment again. You don't care about rumors because you don't care. Yeah. Why don't you care?
It's not 100% fair to say I don't care. I mean, there are a number of things. First of all, I did actually get burned, I don't know, 7 or 8 years ago on what a phone was going to be called because there was a picture of somebody holding up packaging that made it look like a phone was going to be called something and it wasn't. And that was a reason that I was always kind of wary. But the real reason I just don't get that involved in it is because I think what people want from the next iPhone is the next iPhone. And you and I can get, uptight about whether it's going to be 1 terabyte or 2 terabyte, whether it's going to have the, 30-watt fast charging or the 20-watt fast charging or 15 or whatever. You and I can get really in the weeds on stuff that, first of all, may not even turn out to be true, and second, that the general public just doesn't care about. There are power users who maybe are going to feel like 2 terabytes is make or break. And, there are lots of people who get into this, like watching their favorite sports team. I mean, there are lots of people who get, really into the weeds on this stuff. What I'm more interested in is the phone going to be successful? And right now, the answer is almost a given. Yes, because it's an iPhone. I mean, right. I tried to think of what it is that Apple could do to screw up the iPhone, and I can't. Even the Samsung Galaxy whatever that was setting stuff on fire came back as a new phone the following year. Still with the same, I think it was a Galaxy Note 7 or something. Came back as the Galaxy whatever 8 the year after that, and it was fine. So we get all worked up about this stuff, or people get all worked up about this stuff. Go back to if the iPhone 12, I guess, hadn't had 5G. Oh, it was going to be a failure. Well, it didn't, and
Right.
it wasn't, right? 13 added 5G, and so you can argue maybe that was more successful. To 14, I think I'm doing those numbers wrong. I think it was 11 and 12. My point is,
11 and 12.
the first iPhone, there were people who said, well, if it doesn't have 3G, it's a failure. Or, yeah, 3G.
Right.
Because 3G was just starting to roll out. They went with Edge because that was everywhere, and blah, blah, blah. All the things that we have said, it's rumored to happen, and if it doesn't, that's a black mark, never ends up being the thing. I'm more interested in sort of the general business and how that's going. So that's me. Also, I don't want to get my heart set on something that ends up not being the case, because then you walk around with a phone that you hate for 2 years or a year because you thought it was going to have this and it had that. But enough about those. Talk to me about the Apple Watch.
Let's talk about the next Apple Watch. Yeah. We didn't think that 41 and 45 millimeter were going to be that much of a change in size, but I guess they kind of turned out to be. And Apple has apparently decided that's enough of an increase for the Series 8 because that's where they're sticking.
Okay.
At least according to the rumors. It's not going to be a huge upgrade over the Series 7. I want to say it's using the same processor that the 7's already using. About all that they're adding is a body temperature sensor that really all it'll do is tell you, hey, you might be running a fever.
Okay.
It won't even tell you what your temperature actually is.
Now, is that people do think that's going to happen now? Because again, I sort of skimmed an article about that a while ago. I was under the impression that was a someday thing. You're thinking it's a someday next month thing.
Right. It's blood pressure that's a someday thing.
Okay.
Probably not until 2025 at the earliest.
Okay.
But body temperature, several people allegedly inside of Apple have leaked that, yeah, it's there, it's coming. And so it'll be there, but we do have to wait and see. Just like anything else. The other thing, and I don't know why they would change this, but I guess they're going with a different shade of red for the product red Apple Watch.
All right. How would you know if you weren't looking at the two of them together?
I guess some people have actually seen it, and some people can actually pick out different hues, different shades of red a lot easier than others.
Well, I mean, sure, but I mean, if they're both going to be product red, you would think, I mean, they can't be that far apart, I would think.
You would think, but,
yeah.
Someone says it's a different shade. So, okay, let's see what happens on that. It's another one that, you hear about, you go, huh, well, maybe somebody cares.
Hard to imagine. I mean, again, because if product red is your thing, you're either buying it because, you want to do good or you want to feel good about having spent money that maybe did a little good, or you like red. Right. I mean, there are any number of reasons that you might, but it's hard to imagine somebody going, well, no, it's not. Actually, I say that, and then I started to say it out loud, and I was like, no, I could totally be that guy. I could be the guy who was like, no, that red's too warm, or that red is too brick, or something like that. So maybe not. Hey, you're talking about the watches that we already know and have, just with an 8 instead of a 7. There's theoretically a whole new watch is one of the rumors that you got here.
Yeah. The Watch Pro is what the latest rumors say that it's going to be called. And this is going to be the rugged extreme sports edition of the watch.
Okay.
It's supposed to have actually a larger screen, 7% larger than the current Apple Watch Series 7 and upcoming Series 8. Some people say it'll have flat edges, possibly a circular face. Others say no, it's still going to be the rectangular case and no flat edges. Just about everybody thinks that the case itself is going to be made out of a titanium alloy, which is why the watch edition is no longer on sale, because Apple's discontinuing that, we think.
Okay.
The big selling points to this one, though, I think are going to be the fact that it's supposed to be a lot tougher for those people that actually get out and do things in the outdoors, like rock climbing, base jumping.
And then you've got one more rumor down here that I'm kind of similar to what we had talked about in the first segment, where I was like, color. Yes, a feature that speaks to me. The question about the bands.
This one, me too, because, that's one of my favorite things about my watch is being able to wear different watch bands on it.
Mm-hmm.
And one sketchy rumor said that the Watch Pro will not support older watch bands because of the increase in size.
Right.
But we don't think that's really going to be the case. At least some of us don't. It's not a big enough jump that your standard 45 millimeter band lug won't fit. It should still fit. It just might not fit as well or look quite as seamless because it might be just a teeny tiny bit shorter on either end.
I'm going to be a tiny bit contrarian, and maybe I'm using that word wrong. I'm going to argue a tiny bit. I could see people who want like this brand new, shows that I'm a real rugged sports type person.
Mm-hmm.
I could see Apple being like, yeah, they would totally buy new bands. And I could see those people going, I would totally buy new bands.
And a lot of them will.
Yeah.
But I think enough of them would want to keep using their current watch band collection that it would be. I don't want to force you to edit, but it would be a little too obstinate of Apple to say, all right, that the $500 worth of watch bands that you've bought, throw them away.
Thanks again to Jeff Butts, managing editor of the Mac Observer, for joining us today. If you want to keep up with him on the Twitters, Clefmeister is his personal account, CLEFMEISTER. At Clefmeister is where you'll find him on Twitter. He also runs the Mac Observer Twitter account at Mac Observer, and of course, you can keep up with what they do at macobserver.com. macOS Ken, brought to you by me and sponsored by Ladder, smart, dynamic term life insurance. Learn more at ladderlife.com/macOSKen. This show is also sponsored by Notion, one workspace for your whole team. Learn more and get started for free at Notion.com. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media, online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. Info at macosken.com or call 716-780-4080. Happy Labor Day once again. Until next time that we'll do this special edition of macOS Ken, I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.